Right. Welcome again to another one of the Zoom interviews. This time I'm with Demelza Jones, who records under the name of Demi-Jay. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Should we start by asking you sort of, a bit of your musical history? When did you start, and up to this point, basically?
Okay. Well, yeah, I started music from pretty young. I sort of got the first bits together of my first ever sort of song that I wrote when I was about 6 or 7 years old. So I was quite always in tune with it. I always grew up with music and everything, so I always had the influences around me. I started learning guitar when I was about 12. A bit younger than that, but I started seriously learning it about that time and doing exams and things with it, and started
Yeah.
bringing in my singing with that too.
Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, I must say we had an interview before, didn't we, on the SoundCloud, um,
Yeah,
which must have been coming on for a couple of years ago, maybe. I'm not sure actually. So,
yeah, it was a while ago.
um, yeah, and you've sent me a few tracks since then,
Hmm.
which hopefully, if you can give me two tracks, if you can, that I can put on against this interview. Have a think about it, and I'll ask you about them at the end. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What I've been asking people that have given me the interviews recently has been, how has lockdown sort of affected you, musically or any other way, really?
I mean, I feel for everyone it's been a bit of a struggle, but I really do think musically it's good for us because we've got a chance to sort of be locked down from the outside world, and there's a moment for us to sort of sit with ourselves and sit with our instruments
Right.
and take from that what we can only get what out of what we put in, like if I sit down and I write a song, there's always millions of other things that I've got to go and do later, or I'm
Yes.
thinking about that. But it's
Yes.
easier to sort of be in that moment and think, right, this is all I'm going to do today, this is what I'm going to focus on. And with the outside, with the normal life, you're just constantly thinking all the time about all these different things that you got to do, all these little other emails you got to get in. And it's nice to just have the days where you just turn everything off, you just sit down and you just sort of be present. It's hard, it's really hard to do that with how everything is.
Yeah. Lots of
um
distractions. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
our minds are always working and always feeding information, and it's good to sort of meditate on that
Mm.
fact
Mm.
that
So
we're
you
sort of locked down.
so you found it quite productive then, musically?
I think so. And
Mhm.
sort of spiritually as well.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to be away from everyone in the normal world, but when we're locked down and we're sort of forced to do it, it's a bit of
Yeah.
a push to do it.
Yeah. I must admit, I mean, the first lockdown we had, it was initially it was quite strange to,
Mm.
walk out and there was no car sounds, there was no
Yeah.
man-made sounds or anything like that.
Hmm.
But it was fantastic in another way with the sound of the birds, and you
Yeah.
could go for a walk and not see another soul. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was quite good. Um, yeah, so sort of, so since we've come out of lockdown, what have you actually been doing then? What's because shall we talk a bit about, because you signed up, didn't you, with was it the RAF?
Yeah, Royal Air Force. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm towards the end of my training course at the minute. So it's been kind of hard to balance my music with training because during lockdown we just stayed on camp. We weren't allowed to leave or anything.
Right.
So I've got my guitar with me, luckily. Um, but it has again been hard to focus on the music and like on myself a lot because there's so many different people around and so many different opinions and everything, and
Mm,
it's hard to kind of shut it out.
right.
Um, but I have found I've written a couple songs, normally not as many as I would have done if I had my own sort of space and my own mind. Um, but yeah, like a few things have come out, a
Mm,
few songs and stuff.
brilliant. Superb. So how long have you got left of your basic training?
So I'm in phase 2 now, so like the police element of it. Um, it's until the 27th of November, so not long really.
Not long, right?
No.
Okay. So are you hoping then to a bit more time then for music? Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. There's
Okay.
the shift patterns will allow for that as well. So
Right.
yeah, it would be good to sort of get back into me again. It's I finding it difficult personally to differentiate between being Jones and being Demelza.
Got
you
you.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to sort of separate the two because they're so completely different.
Right. So once you've passed your basic training and you've got the sort of what do you call them, regular hours? I don't know, but
Yeah, yeah.
would you want to sort of perform live gigs?
Absolutely, yeah. I've really
So,
missed that. Really missed that a lot, being away and not having any
okay.
really connections up here and trying to build them when everything's in lockdown all the time. It's hard.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So you think musically, is that an aim coming, in the near future, or say
Definitely, yeah.
the next 12
Yeah, I
months
really
or
miss
something?
it. Yeah,
Right,
I really miss it. I'd love to get back out there and the last kind of performing I did really was busking, not really performing. So I haven't
right.
performed in a while, but I miss it a lot.
Okay, yeah. So have you managed to play up there to any of your mates, new mates up there?
Yeah. We sit outside. There's another guy. He's in the army, so we sit outside and we'll do like little concerts for the troops and everything. It's
Oh, that's
quite a good
great.
morale.
That's brilliant. And do you find your music goes down well, or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic, brilliant. So I said, do you want to give me a couple of tracks if I can write them down, and then I can find them on YouTube, and then I'll put them up against this.
Yeah,
So
okay. So there's Mountain, my own one,
yeah,
and Before. That's my newest one.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I'll look those up and tag them on. There was one that you sent me, must have been, I don't know how long ago, a few
hmm
months back, and I could not pronounce it. It's when I was doing it on Coast FM, and I played it. It begins with K, could I pronounce it? Not a thing. It's obviously quite a spiritual sort of tune, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't even figure how to pronounce it. So you don't remember which one it is I'm on about, do you? It's like something
No,
like,
which one was it?
it's something like Carabanga or
Oh,
Karabachi.
was it Kinabatan? Was it
Kilabachan.
Kinabatan?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
been meaning to ask you, what does it mean?
So that's the name of the river that I visited in the forest, in the jungle in Borneo. So that's
Right,
the name of it. Yeah,
right.
it's the Kinabatan jungle and rainforest.
And is it
That's where
about,
I wrote the song. So I thought
it's about the river
that's what I
then?
name it.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. It's about the
Okay.
sort of journey from that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because did we have a chance on the last interview to talk about your Borneo trip? I'm not sure if we did we?
No, not much, no.
So, how was that then? I mean, inspiration wise for music.
Massive. It was quite a pinnacle, really.
Okay.
To sort of just sit there and even just observe, and just everywhere you went, there's just so much. The contrast is like night and day between my life back at home.
Right.
Only the other day I was talking about being home when I first got back, and even just being on the road and looking around and seeing what everything we take for granted. And you end up, for the next few months after an experience like that, you end up feeling just so guilty almost,
Really?
that you can't go back and like give them everything that you've got, because you're like, I don't need it, I don't need all this. You need it more than me. There
Right.
was a guy that I'd spoke to that really sort of resonated with me. um he's saying he'd always wanted to be a pilot because he'd seen the planes, he'd seen them, but he'd never been able to go to the city, which for us was only about an hour's drive away, but
Right.
obviously they didn't have a car or anything. So he'd never been able to go to the city to go to the school, and like he hoped that one day he'd be able to. And it's just that we can get opportunities like that like quite easily, really,
Mm.
and it's just people that's his dream, that's all he's ever wanted. And there's so many people here that take things for granted, and they just take and they don't give back and they don't think. People don't think enough,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
But it was really, it was
mm.
like a slap in the face to sort of come back and sit there and look around and just think everyone's so miserable as well. It's always
Right.
the people who have the least that are the happiest, you know. That's definitely what I found. They're more grateful for the littlest things, and
Yes.
nobody takes
Yeah.
that away over here, I feel, or as much as we should. We're not as grateful for what we have. And I suppose
Brilliant.
lockdown reflects that as well. I feel, I hope that a lot of people are realizing what you do have, and when it's taken away, how much devastating it can be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Superb.
brilliant.
So, did you manage to play any music over there with people
I
or?
did. I had a few experiences over there.
Okay.
So the first one was when we first got to the jungle. We stayed there for a week, and it was, obviously it's a rainforest, so it was raining a lot, a lot, and we were under this tarpaulin. And that evening, when they brought over the food and stuff on the boats that they had, they said, I found a guitar for you because I heard that you like to play the guitar. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do. So there was about 30 of us all crammed underneath this tarpaulin with nothing but, some lanterns and a guitar, and these trees are falling down, and it was an amazing experience to just be able to play to everyone and play
Wow.
songs that they love as well, and everyone just singing along, and just high morale, even though in that other situation without the music that brings everyone together, it
Mm,
would have just been so bad.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Superb. Superb. So, I think I asked this at the end of the interview last time, about is there anybody you want to thank for you being here musically? Has it changed since the last interview a couple of years ago?
No, but I feel like it's the same, but the one person I forgot to thank really was myself.
No.
You know,
Brilliant.
for giving me the opportunity and the confidence as well, to sort of say I can do it, in moments where you think, oh, I can't do it, and it'd be easier not to.
Yeah.
It follows with everything, really. As long as you've got you can have anything.
Mm, very wise, Demelza. Very wise. Um, so do you think you'll be home for Christmas? Is that a plan, or you know?
Absolutely. I always try my
Mhm.
best. Yeah. Yeah. I
Nice,
always try my best to
nice.
get home for Christmas.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, with this second lockdown, might be a bit easier for people, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've all missed live music. I mean, that's been an
For
absolute
sure.
killer. You know,
Yeah.
but people have sort of embraced this technology and have been doing lots of sort of like live Zoom sort of stuff, um,
Yeah.
which we never really had the opportunity before to do that. People were a bit too intense on other things, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having
That's
me.
no, no, it's brilliant, and good luck with everything you're going to do. All right.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm
And
sure
you.
you're the sort of person, you set your mind to it, you'll get it, because you've got a very good outlook. All right.
Thank you.
You
Thank
take
you.
care, Demelza.
And you.
Cheers.
Bye bye.